Imagine stepping into a spacecraft not as an astronaut, but as a tourist. No months of training, no harsh simulations, just you, the stars, and the infinite dark beyond Earth. Now picture this. The first hotels in orbit are already being designed. Companies are testing reusable spacecraft every month, and billionaires aren't the only ones booking seats anymore. But here's the real twist. What if I told you that the first generation of everyday space tourists may already be alive right now, and that the timeline for your own trip might be much closer than you think? Because behind closed doors, something big is happening in the space industry, and it could change everything we believe about travel, exploration, and even human identity. But what exactly is about to happen? And when will you be able to visit space? Before we uncover the truth, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Deep Space Explained for more cosmic revelations every week. Now, let's unlock the future of humanity's next great adventure. Space tourism didn't begin with SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, or Blue Origin. In fact, the first true space tourist launched more than 20 years ago, when businessman Dennis Tito paid $20 million to spend a week aboard the International Space Station. At the time, the world treated it like a novelty, a billionaire's fantasy. But what most people didn't realize was that Tito's trip quietly exposed a profound truth. The technology already existed for civilians to enter space. It just wasn't accessible. And that simple fact opens a new question we still haven't answered. If civilians could visit the ISS 2 decades ago, why isn't space tourism common today? And what changed recently that suddenly made the industry explode? Because something did change dramatically in the last 10 years, and the consequences are about to cascade into your lifetime. For the past half-century, rockets worked like disposable lighters. You ignite them once, they burn, then fall into the ocean as multi-million-dollar trash. That outdated model made spaceflight astronomically expensive, until SpaceX introduced the reusable Falcon 9 booster. Suddenly, missions that cost $200 million dropped to under $50 million, and the price keeps falling. But here's the real shock. Starship, SpaceX's next rocket, aims to reduce launch costs to under $1 million. That's not just a discount, it's an industrial revolution. With costs collapsing this fast, experts predict space tourism tickets could drop from hundreds of thousands of dollars to the price of a luxury vacation. But cost alone isn't the full story. Because there's another breakthrough, hidden in plain sight, that may accelerate the timeline even more. The race to build the first commercial space station. NASA is already retiring the International Space Station by the early 2030s. But instead of replacing it with one massive government project, NASA is outsourcing the next era of orbit habitats to private companies. Axiom Space, Orbital Reef, Starlab, each one is building modules that function as laboratories. And luxury hotels. Think panoramic cupolas, private suites with Earth views, and zero-gravity lounges where astronauts and tourists mingle. Axiom plans to detach its first module from the ISS in less than 5 years to form the world's first commercial space station. But this raises a crucial question. If orbital hotels are coming, who exactly will be able to afford a ticket? And is it true that one company is planning an experience so extreme that it could make space tourism accessible to almost everyone? While orbit remains expensive, suborbital space tourism, brief journeys above the Kármán line, is already open to civilians. Blue Origin's New Shepard has flown actors, influencers, scientists, and even teenagers to space. Virgin Galactic sends passengers on winged spacecraft that glide back to Earth. These flights last minutes, not days, and cost far less than orbital missions. But here's the twist. Virgin Galactic says its long-term goal is to reduce the price to under $25,000. And several companies developing hypersonic point-to-point travel, flying from New York to Tokyo in 45 minutes using near-space altitudes, may unintentionally make suborbital travel the new commercial aviation. But all of this raises a deeper question. Is space tourism safe enough for the general public? Or are we stepping into a frontier that carries risks few people truly understand? Space is beautiful, but it's also deadly. Cosmic radiation, microgravity health effects, debris impacts, re-entry risks, even a minor malfunction can become catastrophic. Experts warn that early space tourists will face dangers far greater than any airplane passenger. Yet despite the risks, companies are developing new safety standards: radiation shielding, emergency re-entry capsules, real-time AI diagnostics, and spacecraft that can abort missions in milliseconds. Even insurance companies are now drafting policies specifically for private space travelers. But while safety is improving, something even more transformative is brewing beneath the surface. Something that might make space tourism not just safer, but essential for humanity's future. Space tourism isn't just about fun or luxury. It's the first step toward becoming a multi-planet civilization. Every ticket purchased helps fund reusable rockets, orbital infrastructure, moon bases, and eventually Mars colonies. The tourists of this decade will become the pioneers who push the industry forward, creating economies, businesses, and jobs that couldn't exist on Earth. And there's another profound reason: the overview effect, a dramatic psychological shift that astronauts experience when seeing Earth from above. Nearly every space traveler returns with a transformed understanding of life, humanity, and the fragility of our world. Some scientists believe widespread access to this experience could reshape global culture. But the question remains: when will you be able to go? Here's the surprising truth. If current trends continue, suborbital flights could reach commercial aviation pricing by the late 2030s. Orbital hotels may open by 2031 to 2035, and full, week-long stays in space, once reserved for billionaires, may drop to the price of a luxury cruise by the 2040s. That means the first generation of mainstream space tourists may already be watching videos like this one, preparing for a future where leaving Earth becomes as ordinary as crossing the ocean once was. So, will you be among them? Will you be one of the first humans to look down on Earth with your own eyes? If today's breakthroughs are any clue, the answer might be closer than you've ever imagined. If this journey through the future of space tourism sparked your curiosity, drop a comment below, hit like, and subscribe to Deep Space Explained. And remember, the universe is vast, mysterious, and waiting for you. Until next time, keep looking up.